that they would take care of him. Apparently his ego and his subconscious felt that he had been taken care of too long. They had managed to get him into this spot from which he could only be extricated by his own talents, far away from Pyrrus and the pressures that had been weighing on him so long. He took a deep breath and smiled. It wasn't such a bad idea after all. Stupid in retrospect, but the stupidity could hopefully be kept in the past. Now he had to prove that there was something other than a death wish in his subconscious flight from Pyrrus, and he must find a way to reverse positions with this cop, whoever he was, which meant that he had to find out a little more about the man before making any plans. "I'm afraid you have the advantage of me, officer. How about telling me who you are and showing me a warrant or something under which you are performing this deed of interstellar justice?" "I am Micah Salmon. I am returning you to Cassylia for trial and sentencing." "Ah, yes," Jason sighed. "I'm not surprised to hear that they are still interested in finding me, but I should warn you that there is very little remaining of the 3,017,000,000 credits that I won from your casino." "Cassylia doesn't want the money back," Micah said as he locked the controls and swung about in his chair. "They don't want you back either. You are their planetary hero now. When you escaped with your ill-gotten gains, they realized that they would never see the money again. So they put their propaganda mills to work, and you are now known throughout all the adjoining star systems as Jason 3 billion, the living proof of the honesty of their dishonest games, and a lure for all the weak in spirit. You tempt them into gambling for money instead of working honestly for it." Pardon me for being thick today," Jason said, shaking his head rapidly to loosen up the stuck synapses. "I'm having a little difficulty in following you. What kind of a policeman are you to arrest me for trial after the charges have been dropped?" "I'm not a policeman," Micah said sternly, his long fingers woven tightly together before him, his eyes wide and penetrating. "I'm a believer in truth, nothing more. The corrupt politicians who control Cassylia have placed you on a pedestal of honor, honoring you, another, and if possible, a more corrupt man, and behind your image they have waxed fat. But I am going to use the truth to destroy that image, and when I destroy the image I shall destroy the evil that produced it." "That's a tall order for one man," Jason said calmly, much calmer than he really felt. "Do you have a cigarette?" "There is, of course, no tobacco or spirits on this ship. And I am more than one man. I have followers. The Truth Party is already a power to be reckoned with. We have spent much time and energy in tracking you down, but it was worth it. We have followed your dishonest trail into the past, to Mahout's planet, to the Nebula Casino on Galipto, through a series of sordid crimes that turns an honest man's stomach. We have warrants for your arrest from each of these places, in some cases even the results of trials and your death sentence." "I suppose it doesn't bother your sense of legality that those trials were all held in my absence?" Jason asked. "Or that I have only fleeced casinos and gamblers, who make their living by fleecing suckers?" Micah Salmon wiped away this consideration with a wave of his hand. "You have been proven guilty of a number of crimes. No amount of wriggling on the hook can change that. You should be thankful that your revolting record will have a good use in the end. It will be the lever with which we shall topple the grafting government of Cassylia." "I'm beginning to be sorry that I stopped Kerk and Meta from shooting you," Jason said, shaking his head in wonder. "I have a very strong suspicion that you are going to cause yourself, and a lot of other people, a good deal of trouble before this thing is over. Look at me, for instance." He rattled his wrists in their restraining bands. The servo motors whined a bit as the detector unit came to life and tightened the grasp of the cuffs, limiting his movement. "A little while ago I was enjoying my health and freedom, and I threw it all away on the impulse to save your life. I'm going to have to learn to fight those impulses." "If that is supposed to be a plea for mercy, it is sickening," Micah said. "I have never taken favors, nor do I owe anything to men of your type. Nor will I ever." "Ever, like never, is a long time," Jason said very quietly. "I wish I had your serenity of mind about the sure order of things." "Your remark shows that there might be hope for you yet. You might be able to recognize the truth before you die. I will help you, talk to you, and explain." Better the execution, Jason choked. Chapter 2. Are you going to feed me by hand or unlock my wrists while I eat? Jason asked. Micah stood over him with the tray, undecided. Jason gave a light verbal prod, very gently, because whatever else he was, Micah was not stupid. I would prefer you to feed me, of course. You'd make an excellent body servant. You are capable of eating by yourself, Micah responded instantly, sliding the tray into the slots of Jason's chair. But you will have to do it with only one hand. If you were freed, you would only cause trouble. He touched the control on the back of the chair and the right wrist lock snapped open. Jason stretched his cramped fingers and picked up the fork. While he ate, Jason's eyes were busy. Not obviously, since a gambler's attention is never obvious, but many things can be seen if you keep your eyes open and your attention apparently elsewhere. A sudden glimpse of someone's cards, the slight change of an expression that reveals a player's strength. Item by item, his seemingly random gaze touched the items in the cabin. Control console, screens, computer chart screen, jump control chart case, bookshelf. Everything was observed, remembered, and considered. Some combination of them would fit into the plan. So far, all he had was the beginning and the end of an idea. Beginning: he was a prisoner in this ship on his way back to Cassylia. End: he was not going to remain a prisoner, nor return to Cassylia. Now all that was missing was the vital middle. It looked impossible at the moment, but Jason never considered that it couldn't be done. He operated on the principle that you made your own luck. You kept your eyes open as things evolved, and at the right moment you acted. If you acted fast enough, that was good luck. If you worried over the possibilities until the moment had passed, that was bad luck. He pushed the empty plate away and stirred sugar into his cup. Micah had eaten sparingly and was now starting on his second cup of tea. His eyes were fixed, unfocused in thought as he drank. He started slightly when Jason called to him. "Since you don't stock cigarettes on this ship, how about letting me smoke my own? You'll have to dig them out for me, since I can't reach the pocket while I'm chained to this chair." "I cannot help you," Micah said, unmoving. "Tobacco is an irritant, a drug, and a carcinogen. If I gave you a cigarette, I would be giving you cancer." "Don't be a hypocrite," Jason snapped, inwardly pleased at the rewarding flush in the other's neck. "They've taken the cancer-producing agents out of tobacco for centuries now. And even if they hadn't, how does that affect this situation? You're taking me to Cassylia, to certain death. So why should you concern yourself with the state of my lungs in the future?" "I hadn't considered it that way. It is just that there are certain rules of life." "Are there?" Jason broke in, keeping the initiative and the advantage. "Not as many as you like to think. And you people who are always dreaming up the rules never carry your thinking far enough. You are against drugs. Which drugs? What about the tannic acid in that tea you're drinking? Or the caffeine in it? It's loaded with caffeine, a drug that is both a strong stimulant and a diuretic. That's why you won't find tea in spacesuit canteens. That's a case of a drug forbidden for a good reason. Can you justify your cigarette ban the same way?" Micah started to talk and then thought for a moment. "Perhaps you are right. I'm tired and it's not important." He warily took the cigarette case from Jason's pocket and dropped it onto the tray. Jason didn't attempt to interfere. Micah poured himself a third cup of tea with a slightly apologetic air. "You must excuse me, Jason, for attempting to make you conform to my own standards. When you are in pursuit of the big truths, you sometimes let the little truths slip. I'm not intolerant, but I do tend to expect everyone else to live up to certain criteria I have set for myself. Humility is something we should never forget, and I thank you for reminding me of it. The search for truth is hard." "There is no truth," Jason told him, the anger and insult gone now from his voice, since he wanted to keep the captor involved in the conversation, involved enough to forget about the free wrist for a while. He raised the cup to his lips and let the tea touch his lips without drinking any. The half-full cup supplied an unconsidered reason for his free hand. "No truth?" Micah weighed the thought. "You can't possibly mean that. The galaxy is filled with truth. It's the touchstone of life itself. It's the thing that separates mankind from the animals.